Hello, Las Vegas, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Golf at the Park, Angel Park Golf Club's weekly interview show. Thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking these videos. We appreciate it. We're going to get started right off the top by introducing and welcoming to the show Mathew Wangrycht. Matthew, what's going on, man?
Hey,
Thanks for coming in.
No, thank you for having me. Been
Mathew,
trying to get out here for a while.
Yeah, we've been trying to have you on for months. Matthew has his hands in quite a different fires here in the local golf scene.
That's a good way to put it.
So we're gonna chop them all up. But let's start at the beginning. I really like to at first just hear how you were introduced to the game of golf. How'd you find your way into this?
It goes back to my grandfather on my mom's side. He was an avid golfer, loved the game. He was in construction. He ran a bulldozer for Caterpillar for 60 years. Wow. Was the longest union member in Arizona's history. He bulldozed the road from the dam to Kingman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mom would spend the summers at Willow Beach while he was working. And but in his off time, he loved to golf after he retired. And so I would go with him to the golf course and ride in the golf carts. And I was too young to swing a stick back then. Nowadays, it's different. There's 5-year-olds out there.
The golf course, were you saying like Boulder City?
No. It was in in a small town called Eager, Arizona.
Oh, I know Eager.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where my mom grew up. So I don't know if it was Pine Top or
I spent time in Pine Top. My dad ran Pine Top Country Club from 87 to 89 before moving here for Angel Park. So I live very near.
Not a lot of people know the White Mountains.
No, that's true, unless you're in the golf business in Arizona, because there's good golf courses up there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he
Arizona.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so small.
Very small.
Yeah.
One of the only domed high school stadiums in the country. That's not in Minnesota, probably.
Right.
But yeah, him being out on the course, I kind of got a vibe for it. My dad was a huge baseball fan, and so I grew up loving baseball tremendously. And he wasn't really big into golf, and so he didn't understand when I say I'm going to go play golf with my buddies. He just didn't get it. Wasn't something for him, and I'm a natural lefty. Him being a Yankee fan, Mickey Mantle, I had to bat switch hand. I had to switch it. So I thankfully was able to swing right-handed because none of my friends had left-handed clubs. So if I wanted to play golf, I had to borrow their clubs. So
are you a lefty that plays right-handed?
Yes.
Oh,
well, I'm not. I'm a right-handed, but I'm a natural lefty with the bat. And I tried playing left-handed for several years. Once I got a job and had my own money to go buy clubs, I would frequent the Sports Authority rack for individual clubs and okay, I'll buy a 6-iron this week. Next week I'll buy a 7-iron and put together a left-handed set, and just never felt as good as playing right-handed. So yeah, I've been a right-handed ever since, but I can still swing it lefty, just not great.
So when did you start playing recreationally a lot? Like, when did you get bit by the bug?
I got a job at Canyon Gate working in the restaurant. Food and beverage was where I started my career in high school, if you want to call fast food.
So you were working at Canyon Gate in high school?
No. It was a couple years after high school. I was working as a waiter in the restaurant, and just being around that country club atmosphere was really exciting. And we got to play the courts a couple times. But from there, I got a job at Las Vegas National. Back then, it was called Hilton Country Club.
Yep.
And I was a reservation agent.
No, it was the Sahara
before
after
that.
or
before that. Yeah. It was Sahara, and then the Hilton, Las Vegas Hilton Country Club is what it's called.
That's funny.
And I was there in '96 when Tiger won, and that was part of the rotation for the Las Vegas Invitational.
Right.
And I was taking tee times over the phone for American Golf, and we had it was Painted Desert, Wild Horse, and Las Vegas National were the 3 courses. And it was fun because people would call and they're like, oh, we're looking for a tee time. And then we'd get spiffed for if they had rental clubs or if they needed golf balls or if they needed shoes, any of that stuff. So it was sales.
Yeah,
you're just trying to get
upselling,
sales.
yep.
And then American Golf decided to regionalize it and move it to Phoenix. And I wasn't about to move to Phoenix. So they offered me I could work in the pro shop or I could work out in the cart barn. I said, where am I going to make more money? They said, you'll make more tips in the cart barn. So I went out and did the cart barn for, 6-8 months.
So you've got cart barn time logged.
Oh
That's,
yeah, yeah.
That's always
There-
fun when we get some cart barn guys in here.
Yeah, an hour before the sun comes up, unplugging carts, prepping, and
I remember it well.
Yeah.
Hours after here when the lights go off, yeah, plugging them back in, washing them and plugging them back in.
Yep. So that got me really like into the golf scene, because what we would do is we were split up. We'd work 2 morning shifts, 2 afternoon shifts, and he'd float. And so the morning shifts we would play national afterwards, after we were done, because we'd get off at noon, and courses pretty much wide open, go play. And then the days where we came in at noon, our GM would call around and say, hey, I got a couple guys who want to come play. And so we go play in the morning, and then so always playing golf. Really kind of found my place is I love this. This is something I want to do. And then kind of got away from it and went into work and had my career as an automotive. I got into the automotive side of things and was a parts guy for Chrysler for almost 20 years. Yeah.
So so you worked in golf, you're playing. How much did you play when you switched professions?
Very little.
So you went through a down turn where you weren't playing much golf.
Not playing much at all. Occasionally some guys would say, hey, we're going to go play, and I'd go. Just lost all kind of interest in it. I'd still watch it on TV. Of course, Tiger era was hugely popular back then, and
So you'd pay attention to it.
Yeah, pay attention, but just wasn't playing as much.
Now, so I'm guessing since you're so involved in it now, this maybe rekindled 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. About how long have you been back in?
Almost 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So a while now.
So I have some friends that I grew up with out here. A couple of them have moved away. But when they come back into town, we'd all get together and go play. And they were better than me, by far. Great ball strikers, and just were good athletes. And they'd always get in these betting matches and side games and everything. And I was just like, I'm not good enough to do this. I'm shooting 125, and just terrible. And I said, I want to be involved. I want to be in these matches. I want to have this extra level of excitement with the game. And so I said, I'm gonna take this serious again. So found a set of sticks on Craigslist, I think it was, some old Ping i5s, and dusted off the old golf bag that I had, and said, I'm gonna start taking this serious. And that was December of 2009.
Okay.
And so there was blogging wasn't a thing back then.
This is still really, Facebook was brand new, I think.
Yeah.
Then. So social media hadn't really jumped off yet.
And I said, I want to start writing down my experiences. And my wife's friend, she was an author and English major, and she told me about Blogger. She goes, hey, Blogger's a great way for you to go, and you can just post your articles. So I'm like, okay. So I started a blogger.com account and started typing out a couple things about like range sessions and this. And it was really a way
just documenting your journey.
Yeah, just my journey. It was a way for me to vent my frustrations. Like, terrible range session. I just shot 115 at Black Mountain, and it just, what is so addictive about this game? And so then I started realizing that you can promote this, you could get this out to people, and people can read your articles. And so that's when I said I need to come up with a name for this. And my buddy Randy, shout out Randy, he constantly, every time we play, I'm hitting a breakfast ball. I'm taking a breakfast ball. And so I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to name my blog The Breakfast Ball after you. And so that's how the breakfast ball started.
Breakfast ball comes first.
Breakfast ball came first.
We're going to get through all of these different things.
There's so many. The breakfast ball came first, and so then I found out about WordPress, and then WordPress self-hosting a website. I started getting into web design, and then social media started taking off, and Twitter was like the hot new thing. And so I'm like, man, this is really fun. I get to put my thoughts to a website. I get to design it. I was a freelance photographer while I was doing automotive stuff. So I was like, I can post, course reviews, and it really kind of took off. And one of the guys that I became friends with, his name was Adam. He ran a site called 3 Guys Golf, and they were a review site. And so he was really phenomenal at SEO, and he comes from an advertising background. And I was good with photographies, and my writing was shockingly, it was good. People liked it, which if my English teacher in high school would know right now that I was a writer, she would laugh hysterically and like, no, not Matthew Wainwright. So we were, collaborating back and forth on different ideas on how we could each grow our presence. And then I wrote an article, which I still have on the website.
I was going to ask you if all that blogger stuff's still around.
Some of it, not a lot. I got rid of a lot of the nonsense because nobody wants to hear about a really crappy range.
But you do still have original old pieces.
Yeah. So the article was called "How My OGO Let Me Down," and it's a story about how I lost my keys at Seven Canyons in Arizona at Sedona, a really beautiful golf course, very remote. So I lost my car keys, and we were on a family vacation, and I had taken the car. My wife and kids were at the resort, no cell reception. She was at the pool, so she wasn't able to get reached. I drove the course trying to find the keys. OnStar wasn't able to unlock it because it was so remote. So they had to call a tow truck to come out and pop it. And by the time I got a hold of my wife, she was like, I brought the extra set of keys. I'm like, oh my God, thank goodness. Because here, it's the day before 4th of July. Nothing's open. I'm in the automotive industry. I know I'm not getting an extra key. We're stuck. And there was a small little tear in the valuables pouch of the OGO bag, and the keys had fallen through and were at the bottom of the club. And so he read that article and laughed, and he goes, I got a bag for you. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, how would you like to write some articles for us? I said, that would be a blast. So for the next three and a half years, I was a contributing writer on Three Guys Golf.
So you started content producing before content producing. I mean, you were a writer.
It was a completely different era. And Adam kind of gave me my freedom. He goes, go, we have some stipulations, some regulations that, he was we're providing value, so we're not going to do reviews. We're not going to do a $25, training aid. We want merchandise if we're going to do this for you guys. And we had a great reach. I mean, the website just got tremendous amount of views, and it really introduced me to the brand side of things and how businesses and the marketing side of it, how they work. And, I was at first really nervous trying to reach out to brands and say, hey, we want to do a review for you. But the easiest thing he ever said to me that would make so much sense was the worst they can say is no.
That's right.
Just the worst they can say is no. So I was like, once I believed that, I was like, okay, and just started sending it out there, and people started sending us stuff, and then I went to the PGA show for the first time because
What year is this?
This was 2014 was the first PGA show I went to, and he goes, do you want to go? And I'm like, how am I going to get in? And he goes, you're media. And I went, I never thought of that.
That's so
I am
awesome.
Media. So going there and then seeing that, which was overwhelming. I was like, oh my goodness. But I met so many small little niche brands that were never going to get any airtime on Three Guys Golf just because of the way Adam had it structured. So I was like, there's a place for these people as well. And so I kind of branched away from writing for Three Guys and turned the Breakfast Ball from a personal blog about the game of golf to reviews and articles. And I brought in some people that worked. JT was one of the first guys that came in. He's in Texas now. That hopped on board and was doing content writing and reviews. And a lot of those reviews, they're all still on the site. And we have a ton. And shockingly, that the website still gets 5 to 10,000 views a month.
That's awesome.
Which is insane because the times have changed so much. And COVID really made all these brands aware that we don't have to have a marketing team. We can do it ourselves. And you've seen that change.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that because we've talked obviously a lot about the changes of COVID with golf with COVID and the pandemic. But from a marketing aspect and from a content aspect, it gave TikTok kind of launched right around the same time, and so content production became something that everybody was interested in, just as a fun thing to do. How much did you guys, because what did Breakfast Ball then turn into, or how did you get into another opportunity to, what comes next? Does VGN come next?
The podcast came next.
Chasing Daylight.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about how that starts and how that goes?
So I met Ryan through Instagram. Actually, it's funny. Instagram really blew up for me with the Breakfast Ball, posting the reviews, and before the brands realized that we can do this ourselves, we don't have to have other people do it. They were really eager to send us stuff and get things out there and promote it, before the paid endorsements and the brand promotions and all that came to life. It was a great way for them to get exposure. And so I met Ryan through Instagram, and we started hanging out. He's a totally crazy, passionate golfer with a lot of connections to the game. He's been around for a really long time. And we were just chatting one day, and I remember I had said a couple days prior I was going to go to Revere and try to get in a round and go chase some daylight. And he's like, that's a great name for a podcast. And so we just sat down one day and recorded some stuff. Got some basic, simple equipment.
Yep.
And just put together an episode and started talking golf. And I was like, this is fun. Because it's a great way. Writing it's really personal, and it's a great way to get information out there to people. But talking, it's so off your what's on your mind is you can have it structured, but I just love the kind of like this, just talking.
I've noticed the best way to do this is just to run it in one take. And the times that we've done a second one, it works better, but it's just because of familiarity. But we get the most genuine, I think, content just by doing it this way. Instead of trying to script out too much, let's talk about this, and then let's make sure we do this. I just kind of like it free flow, because we'll realize here in 20 minutes when we're done what we missed or what we didn't cover, and we'll answer all those things. So why don't you explain what Chasing Daylight started as and what it's become, because it's had quite an arc too.
Yeah, Ryan and I, we probably did 15, maybe 20 episodes together, and it was just tough because he traveled a lot, and it was hard for us to get on the same page. And then he ended up relocating to Florida, but I didn't want to stop. I really enjoyed it, and I thought I had something. Joe, I had met Joe through Instagram. It's funny, all my golf friends that I have right now are my golf family. Golf fam is what we call it. All met through Instagram.
A lot of people have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to Joe and said, hey, how would you like to come on? You're born and raised. You love golf. You're passionate about it. And this is before he became a sole golfer, by the way. And he said, yeah, sure. And so he hopped on, and we started recording weekly. We just set a schedule. Hey, we're going to record once a week. It's going to go out on Wednesdays. I think Tuesdays is what it first went out on. And he'd come up to the house each week, and I took our little extra casita that we have at the house and turned that into a little studio. And we were recording each week. And we started doing our Vegas rankings. So each year we've done a rankings episode where we rank all the courses that we've played, and we had a point system. And then last year we kind of revamped it a little bit to get a little bit more respect to the golf courses. And so that one was very successful. And then we said, let's kind of keep the Vegas aspect going to this. Yeah, we'd love to have, 1 million downloads and be known worldwide, but, it takes time.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a learning curve and a growing process. And what I've noticed with this show is that the base that watches every week isn't very large, but it tends to just slowly grow and grow because we have a new person on. And if 100 people watch them just because they want to watch theirs, then if 10% of those say, "Oh, I want to tune into that next time," it's worth it, and it grows. So I like that part of it. I like the dynamic between us having another podcast on finally, because I think this is a space that is not competitive. I think it's a space that is cooperative to be most successful. I love tuning in and listening to you guys. I know there are so many overlaps with Joe and Mike Brashino.
Yep.
And there's as I'm learning more and more about the golf community, it all really is intertwined, and it's just fun for me to get into so many different lanes of this than I've ever been in my life. Yeah, let's talk about how Chasing Daylight does Chasing Daylight birth VGN, or does that come another way?
No,
And let's tell us about what VGN is.
I think the idea for me behind starting the podcast was another way to get people to the breakfast ball. We do interviews. We've had a lot of really solid interviews on the show, and I kind of wanted it to not replace the breakfast ball, but be another avenue for content for that. And then my golf life took over.
Yeah.
And I enjoy playing, and I want to get better. And to do that, you have to play and you have to practice. And that really kind of took away from the time I was dedicating to growing the website and making it what it is. And then COVID hits, and just the brands are like, we're not sending out anything. We don't want to do this. We don't need it. And it was like all my marketing contacts all were gone. They've all left. The turnover rate was incredible, and just they weren't interested, and I get it. And I can't blame them. I can't blame them at all. So I started spending more time on the golf course, and that's when we started reaching out to our friends. And it was Joe, Jeremy, who are on the show, Reed, and Adam. And that was the 5 core people, and Kyle Peeler too, 6 core people that started the VGN. And it started as just a chat group on Instagram, where we would just, hey, anybody playing this weekend? Hey, anybody got a spot?
Just a way to literally what it is. It's called Vegas Golf Network. Is
Yeah,
what VGN stands for.
it was a way for us to network with each other to get out and play. And so I was like, oh, maybe this person would like to be in this. Maybe this person would. And so I was adding people. And we got up to 30 people, and that's when Instagram shut us down and said, you can't have any more people in this chat group. Politics, they didn't want, forced promotion and messing with the algorithm. So, we got it. As much as we fought it, we got it. And Mike suggested, hey, why don't you try Discord? So we moved everything over to Discord, which is a lot easier for us to communicate with people. And the way the VGN's event started, it was our first event was at Las Vegas National. That was in August of 2020, and I think we had 12 people.
So that's got to be a couple 6 months after the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And so golf was huge then, and you guys decide you're going to start making the golf network for tee times with friends. You're going to start making it a competitive tournament.
Yeah. We were doing, hey, let's get together once a month and do it. And somebody would set up an event, and then we'd nominate somebody else to set up an event. And it kind of went from there, and it just started getting a little crazy.
Well, I was going to say, you guys are, I would think, I'm pretty sure I'm correct when I say this, you're the biggest competitive league, right? I mean, or group.
Aside from the SNGA overall.
Yeah, right. It's just local startup based.
Yeah.
And there's, just because I deal with so many of the cocky and lucky and the random golf club and even the mediocre golf club that is organized and keeping score and competitive, it's different. The VGN seems like where the players go to compete, right?
Yeah, I wanted it from the beginning to be, I call it a feeder event for USGA type events, or legit big high stakes golf tournaments. If you play in the VGN and you go to a USGA regional or something that is a legit golf tournament, you're going to be comfortable. You're going to understand what's going on. You're going to understand scorecard exchanges. You're going to understand the rules. And so that's something that we've kind of prided ourselves on is our players are going to be informed about how to function at a legit golf tournament. It started small. It's growing. Every year we've grown. The first year, I think we had 30 people. The next year it was 48. This year we have 98 members in the league. Our tournaments are averaging anywhere from 48 to 56 players. We have 4 flights now. The first year we did it through 18 birdies, and everybody was net because we didn't have a lot of players.
Right.
And then the second year we broke it up into a gross division and then net. And this was our 3rd full season calendar, beginning of the year to the end of the year. And we have our gross division and then the 3 flights that are all net. And we use the card suites. The diamonds is the gross division, the spades is our next, hearts, and then clubs.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's Vegas themed. We got to keep it Vegas.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about platforming, because I know that YouTube and Instagram are your 2 main targets, right, for platforms for you guys. And I've also noticed that, have you always done Chasing Daylight live, or is this a new experience?
No, that's new.
Right, let's talk about that and why you're deciding to do that and those things, because I've tuned into the last 2 and I think they're great. And
Thank you.
I've noticed you've said in each one, you guys should be catching on to this because you have a base that watches or listens. And you guys are kind of saying, hey, after Monday Night Football, check us out, right? Tell me just the reasoning behind that and what you're going for.
Joe's work schedule changed, and Jeremy's work schedule changed, and so it was hard for them to come up to the house. And so we were trying to find a way to do remote recording. We looked at Zoom, we looked at a couple different things, and we found Riverside. And Riverside...
I was going to ask you what you used to do this.
So Riverside, you use webcam, and it records the audio and the video. And so we were just using it for audio. And then I started seeing more and more stuff on YouTube, and there's a guy here in town, Omar, who runs Think Media, that if you ever want to get some advice on YouTube and broadcasting, amazing account to follow. So I started watching some of his stuff, and I was like, we have everything there. We're just not putting it out. So let's put it out. And, I'm not the best video editor, but I upgraded some equipment this past year to make it better. And so I said, let's do it. And so I found out how to stream it live, and I figured out how to do the editing to make it a little bit better. And it's just another way to get out there. I mean, YouTube, there's, 10 billion YouTube users, and it's a great way to get content out there. And it's another option for people.
It's incredible to me how many podcasts are viewed as opposed to listened to. Obviously, way more are listened to, but the amount that are viewed is really high, and it is changing, and it's moving, because you can put YouTubes on the phones now. I mean, and once you buy a subscription, they've trapped you, right, to buy in so you don't have to watch commercials or whatever. But once you have your YouTube subscription, you can just click your phone off and sit it down and use it just like a podcast would.
Yeah, I was sitting this morning watching the Ryder Cup preview, and I'm like, it's kind of getting boring. So I just hit YouTube because I have Google TV. So I hit YouTube and went and started watching the show. And I'm like, it's a really convenient way to do it. Like I said, you got your phone, but it's a great way, and we're trying to put stuff on there. We got Joe to upgrade his lighting so you can actually see him now, and Jeremy and Dan are enhancing their equipment to really make it a good product that we're trying to put out there. But it's nice because you can showcase things, and I'm learning how to put pop-ups on the screen, and we have Matty G, the Fox 5 weather guy.
I loved that, by the way.
Yeah.
I got a real kick out of that last week.
Yeah, he chimes in. He was on vacation this last week, so we didn't have him on this week's show. But he chimes in every week with the weekend forecast for Vegas about what the outlook for the weather's like on the weekend for the golfers, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a learning experience. I'm every day. I'm on YouTube watching how to grow YouTube.
So that's what I was going to ask you, is what kind of golf content you consume, but you're probably consuming content right now on creating content.
It's so overwhelming.
I catch myself doing that a lot.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming because as much as I want to consume the info and to grow, I also want to consume the content. I love watching golf videos. I love watching funny golf videos. And so it's a constant battle of how am I going to spend my free time?
Yes.
Am I going to spend it to get enjoyment for the game that I love by watching other creators? Or am I going to really dive into this rabbit hole and figure out how to grow our show?
Right. I think that I walk that line, so I know that we relate to that in a lot of ways. Let's just talk a little bit about you personally. You've just coming off an injury. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I tweaked my knee about a year ago, and it wasn't golf related. I was moving some furniture and overextended my knee, and I really just thought it was going to be something that goes away over time, and it hasn't. And it's been frustrating, and I'm hoping that the reason my golf game has taken a crap over the last couple months is because the pain has been getting worse. I did the right thing and went to my doctor, and he said, yes, there's something wrong. Let's get you to an orthopedic. I went to the orthopedic, did the right thing. He goes, yes, something is wrong. We need an MRI. We'll schedule it and get back to you in a couple weeks. And I was kind of discouraged with that assessment, that it was going to take that long. Marcus Gant is a member of the VGN, and he...
I have not yet met Marcus personally, but Marcus comes out here quite a lot. Shout out Marcus Gant. We'd like to have you on the show soon.
Yeah, he's very knowledgeable on the golf swing, and we kind of connected, and because I have some issues with my swing, and as does a lot of people, and he's been helping me out with some stuff, and he told me, because you need to go check out my guy John Petrick. It's Las Vegas Center for Pain Relief, or Las Vegas Pain Relief Center. And I said, after the just nonsense with the medical field, medical industry, I said, okay. So I went to him last week, and first appointment, he fixed me, and I was stunned. Some of the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my life.
Pop it, pull it.
Yeah, there was a lot of contorting. At one point I'm like, this is not a Cirque du Soleil audition. Please stop. I'm not Gumby. This hurts. And I'm sure some of the people that were in the lobby were like, maybe I should reconsider this, because, yeah, I was screaming like a little girl. It was painful. And he apologized and said, the only way I'm going to be able to assess you is to put you through this. I'm sorry, but it'll get better. And at one point when he was applying a lot of pressure to the back of my knee, and just felt a pop. And he goes, did you feel that? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, I just put your meniscus back in place. It had popped out.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it had the meniscus is supposed to turn with your bones like this, and it had popped out and got stuck. And so I was a lot of bone on bone at full extension, and just was immense pain. And so he put it back in place, and he goes, go ahead, stand up for me, and the pain was gone.
And this just happened recently then.
That was last Monday. So I just had my second session with him this past Monday, and it feels amazing. I mean, utterly amazing.
Wow, what great news.
And then the kicker is yesterday I got a letter in the mail from my insurance provider saying that they did not approve my MRI, that I had not undergone 6 months of scheduled treatment with my primary care physician.
So now they're trying to stick you with the bill?
So no, I didn't get it done. I didn't get the MRI done because I hadn't scheduled it yet.
Oh.
And it's still been, 2 weeks. I still hadn't heard from them. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
And so, so doing the right thing, my personal care doctor saying I need an MRI, an orthopedic saying I need an MRI, insurance company says, no, we're not covering it. So I'm like, don't need it now. So I'm full swinging again, and pain-free, and looking forward to...
When's your next round? Do you have anything on the books?
Yeah, we're playing Mitch's Revenge on Saturday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Let's talk about the tour. Do you have favorites? I know you watch constantly. You guys seem to have updates every week. Yeah.
Yeah. I like good golf. I'll watch anybody. I mean, the college kids. I go out to the Southern Highlands Collegiate Master every year and watch those kids just rip it. My daughters were both involved in junior golf when they were little. Not anymore. It's heartbreaking, but
yeah.
So I loved watching those kids play. I love watching the tour when it comes out here. The Corn Ferry Tour, when it was here at Paiute, we went out to that. I just enjoy good golf. I love watching good golf. I love watching the guys struggle too. It's such a hard game. that we
Yep.
play, and so I turn it on. I'll watch the European tour, even though it'll put me to sleep because that broadcast is bad.
And we're really excited about the Ryder Cup, right?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, can't wait. That's going to be fun. Any thoughts on Liv you want to share?
Man, I don't have any issues with the guys that said, I'm going because I'm getting paid a shit ton of money.
Right.
I have issues with the guys that talk trash about the PGA Tour and said that it was affecting their livelihood and that, I need more time off to play less golf.
Yeah.
You want to make it big in golf, you have to play your ass off. And, those players that play well are rewarded for it. And I think, taking the money, you earn money by playing well.
Right.
It's not like other professional sports where you get the money up front because of contract, because of your potential. Joe Burrow got the highest paid contract in NFL history based on a year and a half of play. No, it's because potentially he could be an amazing football player for the
Right.
next 10 years. Golf doesn't work that way. You get the money when you earn it, and I think that is an aspect of the game that is great, and Liv kind of shit on that and said, we're going to give you the money up front and make it ridiculous payments to make these guys think that, yeah, let's do it. I don't have any issues. The guys that come out, like Harold Varner, this is a game changer for me. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Go.
changed his life.
Go. But Ian Poulter complaining about playing golf and when he's flying his, $10 million jet across the country all the
Yeah,
time.
and his fleet of cars.
Yeah.
That are worth, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
money grab. And, hey, rightfully so for him. He's at the end of his career. He's how much more could he compete on the PGA Tour and make the type of money he would make at Live? Highly unlikely. So go for it. Go for it. But it's an inferior product in my opinion. I don't care who's playing in it.
Oh, I think it's definitely an inferior product. I also think it's interesting how many people who are new to the game tend to side with them because they want the more fun idea of it, right? The idea of DJs and shorts
And it's new. It's new. It's a different concept. You said shorts, shotgun,
Yep.
3 rounds, loud music,
Yeah,
and
it's
different
goofy.
golf courses. Which hey, go. I mean, if it was here, I would go. I would go
yeah.
watch it because
100%.
I love golf. Watching the live tournaments, I can't. They're hard to watch.
My father and I were talking about this about a month ago or 2 months ago. They're difficult to watch for me, and I don't know why that is, but part of it is that I just don't. There's a way to do team aspects like the Ryder Cup does it right. That the way their teams are structured just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't.
I
like
think
that.
if the brands got behind it and kind of like F1, where you have a Ferrari or Mercedes, if you had a TaylorMade team, a Titleist team,
Yes.
a Cobra team,
That would be
a Ping team,
That would be way more interesting.
it would get behind a brand and they all play this equipment and really I think that is a team concept that I think a lot of people will get behind. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The names are awful. The production is not good. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you would like to change about golf if you could? Is there anything you don't like about golf?
We just had an episode called "What's Wrong with Golf,"
Oh yeah.
and there's a lot of things that are wrong with it. It's so damn expensive.
It's too expensive.
And my beef with that is, by the way, I was just outside looking at the golf course. It looks gorgeous.
We look pretty good.
It is stunning how beautiful it looks. But we're not getting that all over the place. We're not getting that all over town. And shout out to Darden, because I know he's over here.
Darden Nix.
Is-
Darden, I'm trying to coax Darden into coming on the show, but let's talk about Darden just really quick because a lot of you guys, it's not a small number of the golf community that's been built through Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That Darden has been close with because he, before he went back to the Midwest, he was the superintendent at Wild Horse. And so he met a lot of these guys when he was there, and it was fun because I didn't know who he was. I just knew we were getting the old greenskeeper from Wild Horse, and
What he did at Wild Horse with no money was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And all of my friends, over the last 2 years that I've met in local golf, to a man, they're like, can't wait. Gary has given Darden's gifts before. Like, when we were moving, I was helping Darden move stuff into his office, and he's like, yeah, the Johan gave me this. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, he's beloved, and they've done such a good overseeding. We've had a good couple year run, actually, with our conditions, but this is as good as it's been, for sure. And we're excited about how Mountain Course is just getting ready to come off cart paths only, and we're ready to go.
So with the water restrictions that have been imposed on the valley, a lot of courses aren't able to create the green lush environment that they used to. A lot of them are removing grass, which
Painting.
rightfully so. But a $45, $50 round 3 years ago is an $80, $90, $100 round now on an inferior product.
Right.
And I don't know where else you see that. It's crazy. The courses are packed, they're busy, and this being a tourist town, it's tough. We're fortunate enough that a lot of the courses do offer local rates, but I struggle when booking VGN events. I got to look at, is it a Raider weekend? Is NASCAR in town? Is it Is it March Madness? Now we got F1. Now we got the Super Bowl, and all these places they tell us, hey, yeah, I can book you and I can put you down, but this is before the Raider schedule comes out. If it's a Raider weekend, the rate's going up $50,
yep.
Or we're gonna have to cancel it because we can sell those spots for so much more. And I don't blame them for that. I totally.
Well, no, it's a conundrum. I mean, it's a dichotomy that is frustrating because both things can be true at the same time. There can be a supply and demand chain for the corporation, and there can be a need to take care of the local golfer base. That when the resort money isn't there, we need to depend on the most.
Yeah,
I mean,
we call it the big reset. The big reset is going to happen when these 100 million new golfers are like, okay, I'm done with this sport, and they all go away, and the money is not going to go away, but it's not going to be the same.
A hit.
Yeah, and so the connections we've made, like with Angel Park, and some of the other courses in town. We're going to keep those relationships and respect them and work with them going forward, but those courses that have told us to piss off, hey, when they're, as the VGN grows and hopefully when we're 200 plus members here in a couple of years and filling up, 75, 80 people on a tournament, they're going to be calling us going, hey, we want to book you.
Yeah.
Well, remember when you told us to piss off?
Yeah.
So we're hoping the great reset comes sooner than later because it's insane what some of the rates are right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
So that's one thing I would change about golf.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it, but
I don't know how to do it either. And I think I push so much for inclusivity and accessibility, and the money thing is probably the biggest hurdle. And that's why I love that we do have little things like the putting course and like Cloud9 that are at least easier for kids.
you guys just
to
need to
get
move.
out.
You're too far.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about that a little bit because I'm learning that when about the last year and a half that we've started this experiment of trying to go full force into social media differently than most golf courses do. It's been very successful, right? And
you guys are killing it.
It's really been fun and it's been productive and exciting. But at the end of the day, I still only have about 40% of the valley that I can feel really good about getting here at more often at a bigger clip because Vegas is growing so big now that if you live especially in like Henderson, it's really hard to get over here.
Yeah, it was 45 minutes from my driveway to
and that's
backdrop.
a shame because it didn't used to be like
No.
And
the Tropicana debacle right now is kind of making a mess of it, but
yeah, isn't that the truth?
But yeah, no, if you guys were closer, man, God, I would love being out here. It's just, I drive by 10 golf courses to get here.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was mad yesterday because I thought the Revere Range had opened. So I go there and it was still closed. And I'm like, now I got to go down to Desert Willow. I'm like, that's 10 minutes from my
10
house.
minutes.
You know,
That's awesome.
I'm spoiled.
What about gear? Are you a gearhead at all?
I have a ball marker that says Mayor of Tinkertown.
Wow.
Yeah, because I have a build shop in my garage where I do work for anybody that needs anything done. And that started when COVID, when if you wanted to go get some grips changed at Golf Galaxy, it was a week because you had to leave them and you know, they were so...
So you've got a shop in your garage
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
re-grip clubs?
Yeah, I do shaft extractions, regripping, yeah, everything, you name it, I can do it.
How'd you learn how to do that?
Over time, you know, Gary will attest, I'm not the greatest at it when I started. I you know, had a couple builds for him that the clubs came flying off, but you know, I'm not a fitting master by any means, but I'm getting there. I'm learning you know, all my clubs
How fun.
are you know, I've redone all my clubs and it's a blast. You know, slowly started getting equipment. A shaft extractor was one of the first things that I got, and then I got a ferrule turner machine, and then the ruler, and then you know I have a loft and lie adjustment machine. I don't have actual measurement yet, but this stuff's expensive. You know?
Wow. Yeah,
So,
no
but yeah,
kidding.
I love doing it. It's a blast. It's fun learning that aspect of it. You know, swing weights and club weights and shaft lengths and how you can manipulate a club to make it what you want it. It's a blast. So yeah, that's another thing that's on my plate.
Yeah, no kidding. This is bizarre and insane. Let's talk about travel golf. I know that one of the guys, and I only know your and Joe's names off the top of my head, but one of the other guys had just gotten back from Kiowa.
Yeah, Dan.
And,
Dan went on a trip out
and
there.
that was awesome. That was fun to listen to because I know how, I haven't played there, but I know how beautiful and how special that place is for golf and in the game of golf. But let's just talk about your travels. Do you have favorite golf trips that you've taken that you want to talk about and tell us about?
Man, I got to play Mackay in Hawaii. It's on, I can't remember the island's name. Anyways, beautiful Kauai. That's where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful
the
golf
little-
course.
yeah.
Oh, man. I got to play Kapalua when we went to Maui.
Maui.
That was amazing. I've been to
Kapalua is nice. I've gotten to play Kapalua.
I've been to Cabot Cliffs and Cabot Links. Right after Cabot Cliffs opened up, we did. Me and a buddy of mine did a trip there, and then Bandon, of course. Bandon's
You've done Bandon.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So my first experience with Bandon, we were on a family trip to Oregon. Went to my photography background. I've always wanted to shoot Crater Lake in Oregon, and so we went on a family trip up there, and the California forest fires kind of ruined the opportunity to shoot it great. But the summer before, I had played Stream Song, and the blue course is Tom Doak design, and I just fell in love with it, and I was like, man. And then I found out about Bandon, and that Pac Dunes it was the first time Pac Dunes had overtaken Pebble Beach as the #1 course, and so I'm like, I'm gonna play it. So we detoured from our route originally, went to the coast, stayed in Bandon. I went and played just it. I was by myself. It was rainy, foggy, smoky, windy, cold, and I had a blast.
Isn't that amazing?
It was amazing, and just
it was this bad, this bad, this bad, this bad, this bad.
and it was one of the
was awesome.
the most memorable rounds of golf of my life, and so I knew Bandon was special. I had no idea how special it was. I just knew that, wow, that was pretty amazing. The punch bowl wasn't open. It wasn't. I don't think it had opened up there yet. Oh no, it was open. It just wasn't in the morning. They opened up in the afternoon. So I had left, and my friend Andrew, he had been trying to get into the Solstice event that they hold there each year, and he finally got on the wait list. It took him like 4 years to get on the wait list,
Right.
and then so we got into. Let's see. Last year was 22. Didn't play 21. So 2019. So 19 was the first year that we did it. And if you're not familiar with the Solstice, there was only 4 courses then because she hadn't opened up yet, and you play each course. You walk each course all in one day. It's the longest day of the year, the summer solstice. You tee off at 5:30 and you come off at 7:30. The sun's still up, and it's an amazing day. It's your 27 miles of walking.
Wow.
And it's a chore. But
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
It's literally a
and
marathon.
when you get done, when you walk off the course, they hand you $100 because Bannon, if you stay at the property, you pay for your first rate. Your second rate's half off. Your third rate is free. If you pay a fourth round, they give you $100. So you walk off the last hole and they give you $100, which is,
Right.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So then we did it the following year, and then didn't go in 21, and then we got in for 22,
last year.
and so I took Joe. Joe and I went, and that's when the Soul Golfer was
Oh,
born.
I remember the pictures
Yeah.
and the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when the Soul Golfer was born, and that place, Bandon is so special. It's just no matter how many pictures you see, no matter how many people tell you it's amazing, until you're there on property walking it, it's just
Yeah.
it's hard to explain it.
That's a good one.
So we're going there next November or next August. 8 of
to
us.
do the solstice
No,
again?
not to do the solstice,
Oh,
just
okay.
on a buddy's trip.
Oh, that's fun. 8 too.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll get really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. There's not much to do out there nightlife wise.
No,
you're
no.
pretty much all in golf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thankfully the food there is incredible. The amenities are amazing. They have a shuttle service that takes you from place to place, where you just pick up your phone, hit shuttle bus, and say, "Hey, need a ride to the practice range." And so shuttle bus pulls up, hauls you over there. Hey, I need a ride to Sheep, hauls you out there. And the food each place has different food, and all of it is remarkable. Each place has their own clubhouse with different apparel, and then you have the main pro shop at the lodge. It's just amazing.
Some of my favorite things about this show are hearing about the dynamic of the guys in between the groups. Random Golf Club has a group of guys that are all on a group text, and Cocky and Lucky has a group of guys. I'm curious as to, like, for example, your 8 guys that are going to Bandon next year. How competitive are you? Who's the most competitive? Are there rivalries?
Oh, goodness.
Who are the talkers? Who are the chirpers? I mean, do you want to get into a little bit of that? Because that's fun to hear.
We all mix it up. We have some sticks. We have some absolute sticks. And we're all in the VGN. We're all in the league. We got some plus 2s and 3s that play. Trey, just at our event out at Coyote Springs where he won, they played, the Gross guys played from 7,500 yards, and he shot a 74, I think.
Wow.
Just an absolute stick. Bob is mini tour grinder. He's a stick. Those guys, I can't compete with those guys.
Right.
I'm playing to a 7 right now. That would probably be a 12 if all my lower scores from the beginning of the year drop off. I want to get better. I grind. So we're all competitive because we all play in the tournaments. But I think truly it's a family of friends.
It's more about the camaraderie.
Yeah, that just there's not one guy that wouldn't help another guy out with either golf swing, or they need to move, car trouble.
I think that's universal in all of these. I really believe that's true to be with all of these. It's so fun to talk to everybody and say, yeah, I met this person as a golf buddy and a golf partner, and now they're one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I think that is a foundation of the game that is really, really neat.
I'm a mental just nutcase when it comes to my golf swing. I'm destined to find the perfect swing. I know I'm never going to find it, but it doesn't prevent me from trying.
Well, let's talk about that mindset. So are you the type of guy that stands over the ball and has to whittle everything down to 1 or 2 thoughts because otherwise you're constantly in your
I
own
used
head?
to be that way. Watch some of my old videos. I can't believe how long I used to stand over the ball. I don't think I'm like that now. Maybe somebody could chime in if I am. I'm not a speed demon, but I respect the pace of play. I try to play quickly, but if there's something wrong, I have to figure out why.
Right.
Why, and so I'm constantly working on swing thoughts, working on drills, trying to, I posted a video yesterday where, I hit a perfect shot and the next shot was a shank. I hit a perfect shot, the next shot was a shank. Hit a perfect shot, and it's like,
golf.
I just want those 5 swings to all be the same. And, I practice a lot at home. I got a net in the backyard. I got a putting green in the backyard. I practice a lot, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be satisfied. Joe has we have a little soundbite that says, as erratic as you are mentally, and that's me. I'll go out and shoot a 76 and just be thrilled and excited, and the next round I go out and shoot a 86, and then all of a sudden I'm just, instead of being happy that I'm in the minority of golfers who can shoot in the 80s, because there's not a lot.
That's still a great accomplishment.
I'm wondering what happened, and I have to break it down, and I have to figure it out. And so my phone is just nothing but my golf swing videos that I analyze. And
really,
yeah,
you're analyzing your own swing is some of the content you're going through.
And I've been fortunate enough to know a lot of amazing people in the game that have helped me out. And it's somebody will reach out and say, hey, I noticed this, try this, and probably would benefit me to get a lesson plan in place with somebody. I don't know.
You've never taken a lesson?
I have here and there. I've worked with a couple instructors just on a few things, but I like trying to figure it out for myself. I want to know. I'm so much of a why are you slicing the ball? Why are you shanking the ball? Why are you hitting a draw? Why are you hitting a fade? And I want to know those analytics. I want to know, and I think that is what's hindering me right now, because I'm so much in my head instead of just going out and just playing.
Yeah.
But that's my struggle. That's me.
I
own it.
What's your favorite thing about golf? And that might be different than it was a year ago even, but right now, what's your favorite thing about golf?
Man, that's a loaded question.
It's hard. That's why you can take a beat.
My favorite thing, and Trey is doing something on his Instagram account called Why Golf. And I said in that clip, I love being outside on the golf course. Golf course architecture is amazing. Why these guys build the holes the way they do to mess with our minds and challenge us. But I love being outside. I love the outdoors. I love Vegas. I love the heat. I like playing in the heat. 110 on a Thursday afternoon in August doesn't bother me. I love being out there, seeing the different designs, playing new courses, playing the same course and trying to best my score from the last time I was out there. I love all aspects. I love the friends that I've made. I love the connections that I've made. I love traveling and seeing new places, and I love meeting new people.
There really isn't another sport that works like that, is there? It's interesting.
Ryan said this on one of our earliest podcasts. He said, nothing brings people together. No sport brings people together like golf. And it's true. I had in that show, I said, golfers recognize golfers. You'll be walking in the grocery store and you see somebody wearing a Titleist hat, and like, hey, golfer. We know our people, and aside from those dicks that are out there, that every sport has them. It's so easy to just strike up a conversation. Yeah. I have a T-shirt that says caution. The person in front of you is a golfer. Potential for lifelong friendship and endless memories.
Oh, that's
imminent,
a great sticker.
Just because it's true. I mean, there's so many different ways to connect with people, and golf, it's on the course, networking, after the course, what are you drinking, and cigars, and it's just such a wide variety that all encompasses the game.
That's so fun. Well, good luck with everything, with Chasing Daylight, with Vegas Golf Network, with Breakfast Ball that's still happening. I think it's neat that you're one of the guys that just, some of these guys, and they're growing these number that just are involved in 6 different groups or things in town is really, really neat. So I appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having
We're
me.
going to swap right into the second segment of the show, which is our par 5 of questions. We ask the same 5 questions every week, come up with different answers.
Oh, I should have
Generally
prepared.
some more stories. Yeah, it might have been a while since you watched these. They're pretty easy. I'll give you a beat on the hardest question.
Okay.
First question's really easy. What's your favorite golf movie and why?
Tin Cup.
Good answer. That's mine.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it.
I love Caddyshack, but Caddyshack, in my opinion, is not a golf movie. It's a funny movie.
That's a hot take.
It's a funny ass movie that involves golf, but it's not a golf movie. Where Tin Cup is a golf movie.
I think Tin Cup is more of a golf movie, but let's talk about, let's preface this by saying, if you haven't seen Tin Cup, turn this off right now and go watch Tin Cup.
Yes, immediately.
Seriously. Also, because we're about to spoil it. The end is why most golfers, I think Tin Cup, if it would have ended differently, would be every golfer's favorite golf movie. But because of the way it ends, I feel like it's every non-purist golfer's favorite golf movie. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So would you agree that that's why you and I love the end of that, as opposed to purists who say Tin Cup was a lot of fun, but no, it's not. It's not good only because of the way it ends.
I think the whole story, driving range pro,
Right.
former golf star, struggling, has his own addictions, has his own battles, figures it out, loses it. There's so many good stories. The people that are in the movie are great. It's a golf movie.
Yeah, and it came out in the mid '90s, so it was kind of written for golfers in the '80s. And the reason that I think that's funny is there's a scene when he's sitting in the shrink's office, and he puts his shoes up on the couch, and they're golf shoes. His dress shoes that he's worn into town to go see the psychiatrist are golf shoes with the spikes pulled out of the bottom of them.
Yeah.
So you see the holes in the bottom of the shoes, and it's old timey golf.
Yeah.
They didn't miss a beat in any of those. The 7-iron contest where he just turns down the road.
Yep.
Just priceless things. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. and
Second
that's
would
fun.
be Bagger Vance.
Bagger Vance has been
Yeah.
mentioned a lot in this show.
Yeah.
That's a great one too. There's a lot of good ones when you start, and we've had a lot of answers that aren't Happy Gilmore and Caddyshack, which are two that we get the most because they're comedies, they're easily accessible, and they're fun movies. They're really, really great movies too. Question number 2: what's your favorite golf club in your bag and why?
Oh man, God, it would have
Another one that moves and changes.
it would have to be my 7-iron. I hate having a favorite club because I want to love all of them equally. So I don't. If I grab a club, it's not. Oh, this isn't your favorite. You should hit this one because you like it better. So I want to like all of them equally. But yeah, I think me with a 7-iron in my hand is like
You're the least
comfort-
likely to
comfort zone.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. And that's why. And 7, I think I just shot a show yesterday with Fairway J, and he said it's his 8-iron. And I'm surprised we don't get 7 and 8 more often than we do. We get a lot of driver. There's still.
I would love it to be my putter.
and we get a lot of. I wish it was my putter. Right?
I wish it was my putter. I wish I could love my putter, but yeah, no.
We get both those. All right, question number 3, my favorite question, and the one you might need to take a beat on, so don't worry about it. We can edit out any dead time. I'm going to give you your dream foursome to play with. Ooh. So you're in the foursome. So you're going to get 3 people, any 3 people, alive or dead, golfers, celebrities, doesn't matter. Politicians. I just want to know if you could go play your dream round of golf, which 3 people are you taking with you and where are you going to play?
Alive or dead?
Alive or dead?
My granddad.
Okay.
Because I never got to play with
right
him.
Off the top.
I never got to play with him as playing golf. Just me riding along in the cart as a little kid. So yeah, absolutely I think he had 10 hole-in-ones, so he was quite
So
a
he
stick.
was a player?
Yeah, he was a player. He was a player. So I would love, that would be magical for me. I'm not sure there's many pro golfers that I'd want to play with. Maybe John Daly, just because he's a riot. Tiger Woods, I don't think I would enjoy because he's such a golfer that I wouldn't get much out of it.
I do get the feeling that it's one of those. He would be one of those don't meet your heroes things.
Yeah.
Not because he wouldn't be a really good guy, but he's not going to be charming and accessible.
Yeah.
At least you sure don't feel like he's going to be, right?
Yeah. Let's see who else dream wise. Any actor? I hear Tom Holland is quite the stick.
Tom Holland? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like a 2. I was listening to the Shameless podcast. I don't know if you
I love Shameless.
Oh, these guys are hilarious.
Yeah, I try to model. I listen to I listen to a lot of Shameless, and I listen to a lot of Dan Le Batard, trying to build my. I want to learn how to ask better questions and also still have a sense of humor and be able to be
Yeah. So my granddad. Let's throw Spider-Man in there because I think
that.
that would be awesome.
We get the most interesting celebrity answers.
You know what? I want maybe Annika, just because
Sorenstam.
she was such a powerful figure in her sport, and my game relates more to the LPGA game than the pros, as far as distances and everything, not skill level. God no, but that would be an amazing one. And then my daughter is an absolute Marvel nut. And if I was playing around with Spider-Man and she wasn't there, she'd probably never talk to me again. So I'd have to throw.
Clause of bringing a writer.
She would have to come.
I love that. My daughter. I might just have to show her this part of it. She doesn't watch any of these, but she's a Spider-Man freak too. We maybe got to get our daughters together. That's fun. Let's talk a little bit about Annika Sorenstam. I think that's a name that a lot of people that are watching this won't know who she is. So, she went to U of A, which is my favorite part of it because I'm a University of Arizona kid. But let's talk about Annika and what she was and how big of a name she was in golf in the 90s.
Just incredible.
She was Tiger Woods before Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Her level of competitiveness, just stomp on your throat and just a winner. Just a winner.
And itty bitty, small.
Yeah, and she was hitting the ball a long ways for women back then, but so accurate. Just absolutely so accurate. Just a game changer that really brought a lot of attention to the women's sport when it needed it.
Yep. I love that she came up. That's the first time she's been brought up on the show. Question number 4. What's your aiming fluid? So when you're out on the course, are you drinking any alcohol? Are you trying to stick to all water and Gatorade because you're in the desert? Are you drinking a lot of alcohol?
I used to drink a lot. I actually stopped drinking this last year. I haven't had a sip.
You're sober.
Me
too.
Yeah, haven't had a sip of alcohol this year. I do this every now and then. I have a love relationship with beer. I don't drink it to get drunk. I drink it because I enjoy the different varieties and flavors and breweries and tastes. And, you get a buzz along the way. Awesome. But a couple years ago, the solstice that I did, not with Joe, but the one before, we go early and play a couple rounds, and we were at Bannon Crossing, and it was Monday. The solstice is on Tuesday, and you get up at 5:30, or you're teeing off at 5:30, so you're up at 4:45. And so we were playing crossings in the morning. I said, I'm just gonna have one beer today. And then afterwards, we went into town and stopped off at a pub, and I had a couple Guinnesses, and then we went to the party, the welcome party, and had a couple beers, and next thing I know, it's 3 a.m. and I'm spinning in the bedroom. And
summer solstice is
2 hours. Yeah. So yeah, I played the first 3 rounds drunk, and I said to myself, if what I get most excited about, if the thing that I look forward to most
is ruined,
if I can't control myself, because maybe I have a little issue here. So I stopped drinking and made it almost a year, and then went back and was just moderately here and there. And then Joe got me hooked on bourbon with his love for bourbon. And so I started drinking some bourbon, and I was like, I hadn't had hard liquor in 20 years. And I was like, no, I was putting on too much weight. And I said, this isn't good. So I stopped, really curbed my eating habits, and down almost 30 pounds this year. So
And probably feel a lot better.
oh my God, do I feel a lot better. Don't miss. But yeah, I would have a cold beer on the course, of course, you know. But now Prime, the hydration drinks,
Yeah.
they're my go-to.
I love that. And I think it's important we talk about one of the things that has happened on this show as it's found its voice this last year is we've talked about some different issues and important issues along with just golf, and mental health has come up and alcoholism, for lack of a better word. I'm not accusing anyone or putting a tag on anyone, but in my case it was absolutely a case of alcoholism, and the struggles of going through that and beating that, and interestingly enough, how every single one that ends up successfully stopping, their lives are better. It's 100%.
Yep.
And it's undefeated, and it's something that I think is important to highlight, that you feel incrementally better.
A good close friend of mine, James Fights, he played at UNLV. That's how I met him. Did an interview with him, played a couple rounds with him, and he got bad into the alcohol, and especially in this town, the gambling and the alcohol, and he ended up transferring to Pacific, and he's been sober 5.5 years now.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He runs probably 6 miles a day, looks incredible, just recently got married, has turned his life around because he chose to live a better life than
That's
drink.
so great and inspiring and it's important, I think, for me for the show to cover some of those things. All right, question number 5, shot number 5. We are at the end. Let's talk about your anger streak. Everyone's got one. They go hand in hand with golf. Some people are much better at handling them than others. So the best way, we used to phrase it with profanity, and now that we are with Arcus Golf, I'm even wearing the cap today. We've rephrased it, but we still want to know about how people deal with their anger on the golf course. So, have you ever thrown a club? Have you ever snapped a club? Have you ever embarrassed yourself with the reaction that you've had to a poor shot?
Up to 3 months ago, I would have been no. I've never done that. But
so you've gone the other way.
No. If you would have asked me that 3 months ago, I would have said no. I've never broken a club. No, I've never thrown a club. But recently, we were playing Rio Seco in a 2-man event, and I had a moment of weakness and snapped a club over my knee.
So you did snap it?
Yeah,
And did you immediately regret it?
Oh God, no.
No.
Oh no, I was happy.
So it did relieve it.
Oh, that club needed to go. that club did not deserve, because it wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, it wasn't the guy holding the club and swinging the club like a jerk. No, it was the club, and it had to go. No, I had no regrets whatsoever. I'm surprised that I haven't done it more since, because it was such a relief. No, I have a lot of respect for the game, and I've been around people that club toss and throw and smack and hit shit. I mean, smacking my head in the ground to knock a tee in after a bad tee shot is about as violent as I get. Now, internally,
that's fine.
Internally, if after a shot that has led me to some hostility in the mindset, if anybody would hop in there, they would quickly exit, because inside it's a train wreck. But I keep it in on the course. Yeah, I'm pretty good at holding it. I think so.
Yeah.
Except for that, and everybody was like, "Did Matt just snap a club over his knee?" and it was an expensive shaft, and
Yep, and you didn't care.
no, I did not care.
Still don't care.
No, I knew I had another one at home that was going to replace it, and
That's great.
yeah. So
Matthew, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Do you have a good time?
absolutely blast. I'm
All
sorry
right.
it took so long to get out here, but
Oh, no problem. And make sure that you check into all these. We're going to have links to everything that Matthew's involved in that you can go check out. Make sure you do that. And we'll see you again next week. And until next time, hit 'em straight from your friends at Angel Park Golf Club. Cheers.